Morning, rolling slow this morning after the Zoom intensive last night, as I'm finding more and more now since closing my office and turning everything into virtual so I can be in everybody's living room whenever they choose they would need my services and help. But these intensives are packed. It's something Cassie and I talk about regularly. Prepping for them, and then even just when you're done with them. If you've had any experience with alcohol, it's a hangover. And there's a lot. And when you attend them, you can see that we give everything we do and care very seriously about the information that we give. Otherwise, we would not give it clearly. If we were in it to not care, we would sell supplements and essential oils and do shorter TikTok videos and fight for freedom. But I wanted to get on here after last night's Zoom intensive. The Zoom intensive was on this little guy here. Hi, little guy. He slept on the couch. This little guy here. It's the book I published in 2018. It was a youth sports injury epidemic survival guide. It was a survival guide for parents. It was a solution to the ulnar collateral ligament tears that were happening, requiring Tommy John surgery, a majority in teenagers. It was for pediatric ACL tears or ACL tears in general. It was for concussions. It was for kids being medicated for anxiety and depression due to their inability to perform in sports. It was all this data and all this research and all this science behind all this going on in the youth sports industry. And I had a solution. And so we wanted to create a way. Publisher thought it was of value to create a way to create a solution to put into people's homes so that nobody would have to come to my office, right? Save them before, get them before, help them before. That was the point. Well, since 2018 or 16, when this was written, published in 2018, I've changed a lot. A lot has changed. How I deliver my medicine, my experiments with them, my truths with them, the depths of them, the simplicity that I've created, what I've thrown out, what's just extraneous and just there to entertain, the fear behind it. So much has changed. And so I wasn't comfortable with this thing still being out there. And this version of me also being here. And so I was wondering if there was a way to bridge the gap between the two. And this was the best approach that I had. It was to go through the entire book. And as you'll see, I think you'll see, there are just notes. We just went through page by page by page. What I would say now, what's not accurate, the truth behind some of those pages, and then what still holds, what's still badass. So that when you have this manuscript in your hands, you can better utilize it. You can better see underneath, see between the lines. Because a lot was assumed when you give, because you can't give individual help in a book. It's just not going to happen. So you have to be general with principles and concepts and laws and rules. And I thought I did the best I could in 2018. Well, it's 2023. Are you freaking kidding me? Of course I'm different now. And Zoom appointments even schedule follow-ups with me every year or every 9 months or so, because they know that I'm constantly changing my medicine. Want to know what I've learned in my experiences and my injuries in the past year, because I'm damn well going to get injured, as you should. That's what life is about. I'm going to experience things like my hands burning off. That's a personal experience of a healing response. And what did I do to deal with it? And everything else. So that's what we covered last night. 2.5 hours for the first part of the book. First part of the book, or part one of this Zoom intensive, was the truth around my publishing, what goes behind New York Times bestsellers, what actually goes behind them, the truth behind medical and health manuscripts and publishing, what I really wanted to write, my original idea, how I went through this whole thing, the truth behind some of the quotes in there. Just a lot of unspoken things that I wanted you to know about that goes into what happens when you publish. And then the first two parts of the solution, it's the rethink and replenish section. So it's rethinking how you approach the marketing hook was youth sports, but it was rethinking everything. And then replenish, of course, is food. And I've cleaned up a lot in that section. A lot. since publishing. So again, 2.5 hours, tons of information. Point of this video, not only to recap and thank everyone who attended last night because it was fire, but they have their replays already in their hands and they get 7 days to go over it, because it's 2.5 hours. There's a lot of stuff, just like my other Zooms are an hour and 15 minutes, 3 hours and 2 whatever. There's a lot, and so to take 7 days to pull it apart, I think that's fair. And I hope you appreciate this extension, because it's kind of cool that this happens. Not every live thing do you get to come back to a recording. But I want to make this available to people, the replay, for anybody that feels that they missed it or feels that they would like to have access to this. Same price as the original investment, only today you would have it for 6 days. And if you get the replay tomorrow, it would be 5 days, and so on, to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, until it goes over to Uscreen, where it's held over there for a slightly larger price. So if anybody desires the replay from last night's Zoom intensive on the edits, updates, and changes to my book, first half of my book, email me, info@TommyJohnIII.com, and let me know, and I'll get it to you ASAP. ASAC Schrader. Who knows what that's from? Going through it again. All right, I am going to sip this guy. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. And I'm going to let the light wake me up. And I am going to prepare for a surprise. See ya.